Stand next to a bridge, look at the frame of a car, walk into a building, and look at the structure above you. Every one of those things is made of steel, not titanium, steel. And yet titanium is stronger per unit of weight, more resistant to corrosion, and capable of surviving conditions that steel cannot. It is in aircraft, rockets, submarines, surgical implants, and space equipment. By almost every performance measure, titanium is the more impressive material. So why does steel still build everything we depend on? The answer is not that engineers are unaware of titanium. It is that the best material for a job is almost never just the strongest one. Performance is only one part of the decision. The other parts are cost, scale, repairability, and what happens when things go wrong. Let's get into it right here on Small Things. Two metals, two different problems. At its core, this is not a competition between a good material and a great one. It is a comparison between two materials built to solve different problems. Titanium solves the problem of needing strength without weight. In an aircraft, every extra kilogram of structure must be lifted by burning fuel on every flight. Titanium's ability to match the strength of many steels at roughly half the weight makes that trade-off worthwhile. Steel solves a different problem. It solves the problem of needing a material strong enough, affordable enough, and available in enormous quantities to build the physical world at scale. Not the lightest, not the most corrosion-resistant, just reliable and inexpensive enough to use everywhere. Those are different answers to different questions. And most questions the world asks are the ones steel answers. Every material is only as useful as the problem it is solving. The material that built the modern world. It did not start as a competition between metals. Steel has been in continuous development for roughly 3,000 years, refined by every civilization that needed to build, cut, or defend. The Chinese were making high-carbon steel as early as 200 BC. European blacksmiths spent centuries learning how to control the carbon content of iron to make it harder, more flexible, or more resistant to impact. By the 19th century, two breakthrough processes, the Bessemer converter in 1856 and the open hearth furnace shortly after, made large-scale steel production possible for the first time. The price of steel dropped dramatically. The bridges, railways, and skyscrapers of the industrial age followed almost immediately. Titanium entered serious industrial use only in the 1950s, more than a century after steel had already built the modern world's foundations. The Cold War drove its early adoption. Military aircraft and missiles needed materials that could survive speeds and temperatures beyond what aluminum could handle. Titanium filled that gap, but it entered the world as an expensive, difficult, and limited supply specialty material from the very beginning. It never had the chance to become cheap in the way steel became cheap because the process for producing it remained slow and batch-based, while steel production scaled up continuously. Today, the world produces approximately 1.8 billion tons of steel every year. That is nearly 6,000 times the global annual production of titanium. Every minute, the world makes roughly 3,500 tons of new steel. It flows into buildings, vehicles, appliances, tools, reinforced roads, ship hulls, and the infrastructure of every industry on Earth. The supply chains that support steel production span almost every country. Steel mills exist on every populated continent. Raw materials are globally distributed. The workforce that knows how to weld, cut, forge, and fabricate steel numbers in the hundreds of millions worldwide. No other structural material has ever achieved that level of global integration. Iron ore is one of the most traded commodities on Earth. The entire logistics infrastructure of global trade depends partly on the assumption that steel will be available, affordable, and consistent. Titanium, by contrast, is produced in a handful of countries using a process that has not been fundamentally changed since the 1950s. When the world needs steel, it orders more. When the world needs titanium, it waits. What steel does that titanium cannot? So where does titanium actually fall short? Think of it less like a direct upgrade and more like a specialized tool that only makes sense in specific situations. The first issue is stiffness. Titanium is roughly 45% lighter than steel for the same volume, but it is also significantly less stiff. Steel resists bending under load more effectively than titanium. For a bridge, a building frame, or a car chassis, stiffness is often more important than raw strength. A structure that flexes too much under load is not safe even if it never actually breaks. To make a titanium structure as stiff as a steel one, engineers must use more material, which erases a significant part of the weight advantage titanium started with. The second issue is temperature. Titanium performs well up to a point, but beyond roughly 500 or 600 degrees, its strength drops away faster than some steel alloys. At the sustained high temperatures found inside furnaces, engine components, and industrial tooling, steel often outperforms titanium in the places that get hottest. That is why the interiors of jet engines, despite being surrounded by titanium structures, still rely heavily on steel and nickel-based alloys in their hottest zones. The third issue is the most practical. Titanium is difficult and expensive to machine. Cutting tools wear out quickly because titanium generates heat at the cutting point rather than dispersing it through the material. Welding requires a vacuum or inert gas environment to prevent the metal absorbing atmospheric gases and becoming brittle. A component that takes 4 hours to machine from steel might take 12 from titanium. In industries where hundreds of thousands of identical parts must be produced quickly and cheaply, that difference is not a footnote. It is the deciding factor. And then there is price. Raw titanium costs roughly 6 to 10 times more per kilogram than comparable steel. In applications where weight is not critical, that premium buys almost nothing. Paying 10 times more for a structural beam that will sit motionless inside a building for 50 years makes no engineering sense. Steel, at a fraction of the cost, does the same job with no meaningful disadvantage. Intuitiu. The right material for the right job. The assumption most people carry when they learn about titanium is that engineers choose steel because they have not yet switched everything over. That it is a matter of time before titanium replaces steel the way steel replaced iron. That assumption misunderstands what engineering trade-offs actually look like. Engineers choose materials based on the full set of requirements of the job. Weight matters enormously in aerospace. It matters far less in construction. Corrosion resistance is critical for a marine valve or a surgical implant. It adds little value to a structural beam inside a building. The best material is the one that meets all the requirements of the specific application at the lowest acceptable cost. That changes dramatically depending on what is being built. A commercial aircraft needs to lift itself off the ground thousands of times over its service life. Saving 100 kilograms of structural weight on an aircraft means saving fuel on every single flight for the next 20 years. That is a trade-off where the premium cost of titanium justifies itself over time. A railway bridge does not move. The weight of its steel structure consumes no fuel on a daily basis. The economics of titanium in that context do not add up. This is why titanium and steel are not truly in competition. They occupy different parts of the same map. Where the cost of weight is high and performance in difficult conditions justifies the expense, titanium wins. Where the job requires scale, speed, and cost control, steel wins. And that is most of the world. Now the world runs on both. Today, you will find titanium and steel working alongside each other in nearly every demanding industry on Earth. A modern commercial aircraft like the Boeing 787 contains roughly 15% titanium and around 10% steel, alongside aluminum and carbon fiber. The titanium sits in structural components and engine mounts where weight savings accumulate over a long service life. The steel is in the landing gear and the components that need maximum stiffness under impact. The two metals are not competing for the same parts, they are each doing the job the other cannot do as well. In construction, steel remains essentially unchallenged at scale. Reinforcement bars, structural columns, bridge spans, warehouse frames. A single skyscraper uses thousands of tons of steel. Replacing that with titanium would multiply the material cost by a factor of 6 to 10, for no meaningful gain in structural performance. In medicine, titanium continues to expand. Hip replacements, dental implants, spinal rods. These must remain inside a human body for decades without corroding or triggering rejection. Steel cannot reliably offer that. Titanium can, and for something living inside a person for 30 years, cost per gram becomes secondary. In motorsport and high-performance cycling, titanium frames carry a premium because saving 200 grams of frame weight is a meaningful competitive edge, and the buyer is willing to pay for it. The pattern across every industry is the same. Titanium earns its place where the cost of weight outweighs the cost of the material itself. The best material for the job. So why don't we use titanium for everything? Because titanium is extraordinary, and the world mostly needs ordinary. Not ordinary in the sense of low quality, ordinary in the sense of strong enough, available enough, affordable enough, and manufacturable at the scale required to build roads, bridges, vehicles, and the thousands of other things modern life depends on. Steel became the foundation of the modern world, not by being the most impressive metal, but by being the most useful one. Strong enough, affordable enough, scalable enough to build the world at the pace the world demanded. Titanium earns its place by solving the problems steel cannot. Steel earns its place by solving almost everything else. The best material is not always the strongest one. It is the one that does the job reliably at scale without failing. If this changed the way you think about the materials holding up everything around you, let us know in the comments what everyday object or material you want us to look at next. We might make it our next episode. Thanks for watching. History often hides in the smallest details.